The House begins preparing for possible impeachment of the president. And as he loses key Democratic support on Capitol Hill, President Clinton, for the first time in public, utters the word sorry. The Swiss air crash. Air traffic control tapes raise questions about the pilot's actions. When smoke fills a cockpit, there is a device that could mean the difference between life and death. So why don't pilots have it? And questions about the muscle-building supplements that help build home run hitters.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
Good evening. Dan is off tonight. I'm Paula Zahn. The Clinton presidency is moving into a new and more perilous phase. There is word tonight that leaders of the House of Representatives, Republican and Democrat, will meet next week to decide how to handle the independent counsel's report and the possible impeachment of the president. And as the first major crack developed in his congressional support, President Clinton today issued a new mea culpa for the Monica Lewinsky matter with a new word: sorry. CBS coverage begins with Scott Pelley in Ireland.
Nothing threatens the president's survival like the loss of Democrats on Capitol Hill. Today, the accelerating erosion of that support convinced Mr. Clinton at last to say he is sorry.
I've already said that I made a bad mistake. It was indefensible, and I'm sorry about it. So I have nothing else to say except that I can't disagree with anyone else who wants to be critical of what I have already acknowledged was indefensible.
In the Senate yesterday, it was like a crack in a dam. Democratic Senators Moynihan, Kerry, and Lieberman, well-respected leaders of the party.
The president apparently had extramarital relations with an employee half his age and did so in the workplace in the vicinity of the Oval Office. Such behavior is not just inappropriate. It is immoral.
Lieberman's castigation is all the more pointed because the president is overseas. Congress almost always tries to be supportive during foreign trips. The White House chief of staff tried to delay Lieberman, but the senator said he could wait no longer.
So, standing next to the Prime Minister of Ireland, Mr. Clinton accepted Lieberman's judgment.
There's nothing that he or anyone else could say in a personally critical way that I don't imagine that I would disagree with, since I have already said it myself to myself. And I'm very sorry about it. There's nothing else I can say.
The White House appears to be developing a strategy of mercy.
What is the president trying to do to repair the breach with the Democrats?
The president clearly does not believe that one conversation, one statement, one speech is going to be sufficient in addressing this matter the way he wants to, and he intends to keep addressing it both personally and to the degree he needs to publicly as he sees fit.
With an election 2 months away, many Democrats find it hazardous to stand with Mr. Clinton. The White House fears the loss of party leaders will signal to the rank and file that the exits are open. Scott Pelley, CBS News, with the president in Ireland.
This is Phil Jones in Washington. With Congress adjourned for the holiday, the corridors of power were silent, except at this office.
Senator Lieberman's office, please hold. Senator Lieberman's office, could you please hold?
On the senator's wall, an autographed picture from the president. To Joe, thanks, Bill.
Well, thank you very much for that.
Today, most of the thanks were from Americans calling to support Lieberman's blistering rebuke of the president. Another highly respected 34-year veteran Democrat also spoke out today against the president's behavior.
It simply is not acceptable to the American people, and it's not acceptable to the United States Congress.
And for Congressman Hamilton, the most serious unanswered questions are:
can he lead the country after these events? Does he have the qualities of leadership that will permit him to lead?
As for the president saying today he is sorry,
does that do it?
No, that doesn't do it.
Another Democrat, Senator Mary Landrieu, also heard the president say today he was sorry.
I think it helps, obviously, somewhat, but I don't know if it's enough at this point. I mean, the situation and the circumstances are pretty tough.
Charlie immediately went to work taking on the president.
Some Democrats, like Texas Congressman Charles Stenholm, are proudly distancing themselves from Bill Clinton, not only on the issues, but in subtle references to character.
Charlie Stenholm, our values, our congressman.
As one Democrat told me today, it's the calm before the storm being the report of independent counsel Kenneth Starr. Paula.
Thanks, Phil. The chairman of the House Rules Committee today proposed procedures for possible impeachment. Republican Jerry Solomon of New York said the goal will be to make sure that all 435 members of the House are able to cast informed and knowledgeable votes as the inquiry proceeds through the committees and the full House. Still to come on the CBS Evening News, the tragic pilgrimage to Peggy's Cove, Nova Scotia. A breakdown in the case of two little boys accused of murder. Wall Street's Week on our CBS Market Watch, and a poison paradise. A beachfront town gets ready for the Wreckers Ball.
They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. These pictures are all proof that Kwai garlic tablets lower cholesterol. But if the pictures aren't enough, only Kwai has 14 years of research on people that proves Kwai's effectiveness in lowering cholesterol. Call 1-800-92-PROOF for more information on the proven brands. Kwai, proven to lower cholesterol, proven for life.
Since I made my chocolate chip cookies better than ever, everyone's talking.
I don't know how you made them better, but you did. They're the bestest ever.
Thank you.
These new cookies rock.
Thanks, dude.
Wow, they're even better than before.
I hear ya.
Pillsbury's best chocolate chip cookies ever. Hot and fresh in only 15 minutes.
Would you like one?
Vogue Eyewear by Luxottica. What do you want people to see?
I want you to see where it all started.
Growing up doesn't equal growing old.
I want you to see next year's trend.
Let them see you in Vogue Eyewear by Luxottica.
Looking for cleaner, healthier water? Get the new Pure Plus pitcher. The only pitcher that reduces both chemicals and microorganisms. Get more out of your water. Get new Pure Plus.
The search is continuing tonight for remains of the 229 people killed when Swissair Flight 111 crashed into the ocean off Nova Scotia, and for the flight data recorders that might help determine the cause of the crash. Bob Orr reports tonight on one early focus of the investigation.
Investigators are taking a hard look at the actions of the pilots in the final moments before Swissair Flight 111 plunged into the Atlantic. U.S. aviation sources tell CBS News that after reporting smoke in the cockpit, the pilots demonstrated no real sense of urgency in trying to get the plane down. At the very least, information from air traffic control tapes shows the pilots of the doomed jet did not take the most direct route to the airport. The MD-11 aircraft was 58 miles from the Halifax airport and at 33,000 feet when the pilots reported smoke. The pilots could have attempted a landing in minutes, but Canadian crash investigators say the crew was probably worried about landing on a short runway with a heavy load of fuel.
Their fuel condition was such that it would have been very risky probably for them to attempt a landing with that amount of fuel on board with that length of runway.
So the pilots began what is called an orbit, a series of turns away from the airport to descend, dump fuel, and line up for a landing. The plane continued its orbit for several minutes when pilots suddenly declared an emergency. But sources say the jet still did not head directly for the airport. Instead, it continued turning, disappeared from radar, and crashed soon after. Along the beaches near the crash site, pieces of the wreckage are washing ashore, while Canadian naval vessels are searching the North Atlantic, looking for the black boxes. Boxes which should tell investigators more about the pilots' decisions.
Those boxes could also confirm or maybe rule out an onboard fire. I will tell you the few fragments of the wreckage recovered so far show no fire damage. But the biggest pieces of that airplane remain in the ocean, and with them perhaps other critical clues that could help explain just how that jetliner crashed. Paula?
Thanks, Bob. Swissair is flying relatives of the victims to Nova Scotia for the grim task of identifying their loved ones. CBS News correspondent Jeffrey Kaufman is on the scene.
From Switzerland and across Europe, families of those who died on Flight 111 assembled in Geneva this morning to make their way across the ocean. And at New York's Kennedy Airport, more assembled to fly from the very same airport their relatives had left on Wednesday night.
I want to go to the place where they died. It's a part of taking care of your kin and taking care of their bodies and making sure that things happen the way that they wish.
Their destination, Halifax, just a few miles north of the place where 229 people died when Flight 111 crashed into the ocean. Some didn't wait to make the final leg of the journey from Halifax south to Peggy's Cove, the tiny fishing village that is the closest point on land to the crash site.
Even though there's nothing they can do, there'll be people here, stand on these rocks, look out there, which is as close as they're going to get, maybe, to their loved one.
As the afternoon fog rolled in, a handful of family members arrived here, walking those final steps to the water's edge to say goodbye. As the days pass, the remains of those on board are scattered in an ever-widening circle by the wind and waves, while much of the wreckage of Flight 111 is on the ocean floor. More and more is floating to the surface.
There was a mile of the stuff out there.
In a village up the coast, a local fisherman has returned with a box of debris that he will hand over to the police. Amongst the items, someone's diary of a visit to America.
And what this says here, as far as I guess, is this is good night or something, or the end of the day. And this would be the second day of the 9th month at 10 to 9.
That is just minutes before Flight 111 crashed into the sea.
It's almost like she stopped in the middle to do her seatbelt up, and here we go. We're into a whatever. Right?
That final sentence in French begins with the words, "I write," an unfinished thought from a life cut off mid-sentence. Jeffrey Kaufman, CBS News, New Dover, Nova Scotia.
Coming up next, the device that can help pilots see through smoke in the cockpit, but that no airline uses.
We argue all the time as to who has the better lawn. They're all envious of my Scott lawn, definitely. Scott does it for all three of us.
Now, during the summer, my grass takes a beating.
A heavy sun, droughts.
What the grass needs is turf builder.
About September, I put on a turf builder.
It pumps it up, it rejuvenates it,
Gives it that extra punch for the roots.
You gotta feed it.
That's beautiful lawn. Look at that. Look at that. Nice and green.
It's as thick, it's as plush. Fall is the best time of year to put down Scott's turf builder.
I'm 75, and I've always said if somebody does something nice for me, I'll do backflips for them.
Twin Lab Joint Fuel nutritionally supports healthy joint and bone function and helps you do the things you love. At GNC and other health food stores.
You better believe a paint like this from a store like this will go on like this, live on like this, and look like this, give you pride like this, 'cause it's true.
It's True Value paint, and you can't do better. It really is this good.
Goes on like this, lives on like this, looks like this, pride like this.
True Value paint. Great paint, great store.
From the most prescribed name in the history of pain relief comes non-prescription Motrin IB gel caps. Concentrated, powerful, 23% smaller than Advil gel caplets. Motrin IB, spoken here.
Wonder why the state is doing all that repair work on the interstates at one time? A lot of people are angry, and we'll tell you what they're doing about it tonight at 6.
As we have been reporting, the pilot of Swissair Flight 111 reported smoke in the cockpit moments before the crash. Smoke can blind and disorient the crew and choke passengers. Now, there is a device that could help pilots see their instruments through dense smoke, but efforts to put this technology into use haven't gotten off the ground, as we hear now from CBS This Morning investigative reporter Roberta Baskin.
Back in 1996, when ValueJet Flight 592 crashed into the Everglades, the pilot's distress call was smoke in the cockpit. In 1985, when singer Ricky Nelson's private plane crashed, the frantic voice of the pilot tells the story. We found 500 smoke in the cockpit incidents in Federal Aviation Administration databases, some of them fatal.
Pilots have oxygen masks to protect the breathing, goggles to protect the eyes, but it doesn't help them see through the smoke.
Engineer Bertil Wergefeld invented this equipment called the Emergency Vision Assurance System, or EVAS, to help pilots see through dense smoke. As this demonstration shows, it inflates like an airbag, giving the pilot a clear view of the instrument panel. One of the first of several airlines to express interest in the technology was Swissair. It had experienced a deadly smoke-in-the-cockpit accident back in 1970. Then came another smoke-in-the-cockpit emergency in 1993. According to this letter from Swiss Air's former chief of safety, quote, the situation was so serious that the pilots were unable to read the approach chart and the instruments. In this case, the pilot did manage to make an emergency landing. These kinds of incidents led Swiss Air to be among the first to move toward buying the EVAS technology.
They had approved it and were intent on going ahead with it.
Ultimately, like other commercial carriers, Swiss Air chose not to invest in the $20,000 per plane technology.
The cost is relatively trivial. It's less than a penny per ticketed passenger.
Last year, the National Transportation Safety Board asked the Federal Aviation Administration to evaluate the EVAS system and take action as appropriate. The FAA's response was that it approves of the EVAS technology but doesn't intend to mandate it. Roberta Baskin, CBS News, New York.
The U.S. Air Force confirmed tonight that all 12 crewmen were killed in the crash of 2 rescue helicopters. It is believed that both crews were using night vision goggles when the choppers collided early today over the Nevada desert. The modified Black Hawk helicopters based at Nellis Air Force Base were taking part in a training exercise. In the CBS Market Watch, U.S. unemployment held steady in August at 4.5% as the United Auto Workers returned to their jobs at General Motors. Treasury Secretary Robert Rubin said today the whole world has a stake in Japan resolving its banking and economic problems. Rubin and Federal Reserve Chairman Alan Greenspan are meeting tonight with Japan's finance minister. On Wall Street, the Dow closed down nearly 42 points today. So, for the week, the Dow shows a net loss of 411 points. For the year, the Dow is now off more than 3%. And here is how some of the major overseas markets did today.
I didn't need a wimpy laptop. I needed a desktop that travels. They said, do you like movies? And I said, you talking to me?
Introducing Yourware, technology that grows with you. When you call 1-800-GATEWAY, we can custom build you a portable desktop with an Intel Pentium 2 processor and a DVD drive for movies, all for just $87 a month. And in 2 years, you can trade it in toward the purchase of a new one.
I love this part. Me too.
Call us, and let's talk about Yourware from Gateway.
Fibercon or Metamucil? Both have fiber for regularity. But I like Fibercon better.
Same natural action of fiber, but only Fibercon contains calcium.
And with Fibercon, I get my fiber in 2 caplets.
Fibercon, fiber and calcium in a convenient caplet.
You know, the last I looked, the average workday lasts more than a few hours, right?
Right.
But average pain relievers may work for a few hours, then quit. Well, now there's Aleve. Aleve's the one with the strength to work on arthritis pain all day long with just 2 pills. It would take 8 Tylenol to do that. So, if your pain reliever isn't putting in a full day's work,
Fire it.
fire it and take Aleve. 2 pills, all day relief. Works for me.
Hey, you want a green light to eat like never before? I do. Healthy Choice has a whole menu of unbelievably delicious dishes, incredible meals. New chicken stir fry with a crispy fried egg roll. Big hearty handful stuffed end to end with gooey cheese. My favorite, shrimp and vegetables with bow tie pasta and a creamy basil garlic sauce. All around 5 grams of fat. 5. There's no stopping me now. Healthy Choice. Your green light to eat what you like.
Hey, I got a letter back from Quaker. I wrote and told them that Quaker toasted oatmeal ought to be called Quaker tasty oatmeal.
It's oatmeal, it's toasted. To me, that says tasty.
Well, then they should call it that.
You need a hobby.
Quaker toasted oatmeal. It's your other oatmeal.
Jets 49ers in the season opener.
Yeah, and Jerry Rice is back and ready to attack. And Parcells will have the Jets fired up.
The way it should be.
The NFL on CBS.
The way it should be.
In Chicago, a surprise development today in the case of an 11-year-old girl molested and murdered earlier this summer. Prosecutors dropped charges against the 2 young boys police said confessed to killing the girl for her bicycle. They acted after a lab report showed a stain in the girl's underwear. Police experts say they doubt it could have been produced by 7- and 8-year-old boys. Well, the home run derby that has the undivided attention of baseball fans has an unintended side effect. It has made a substance called creatine more popular than ever with young athletes aiming for college and the pros. Bill Whitaker has more.
58 home runs. Make it 59!
Red-hot Mark McGwire concedes his power swing is fueled in part by a controversial muscle-building supplement called creatine.
It's gone! He did it!
His nearest home run competitor, Sammy Sosa, uses it too. So is it any wonder young athletes now are pumping up with the stuff, like Kevin Mack, star defensive end at Rio Mesa High School in Oxnard, California.
Bench press, I do like 325 now. I went up about 50 pounds since last year.
He says he has more power, more stamina, and is getting calls from powerhouse college scouts thanks to creatine.
It's just what you got to do these days.
Creatine's no magic potion. It's a natural body compound, and users swear supplements give them that winning edge.
So you get increases in strength.
Supplement maker Dr. Scott Connolly says short-term studies show it has the benefits of steroids without the risks.
Creatine is an example of a nutritional supplement with definitive benefits and a very, very, very favorable safety profile.
But no one's done any long-term studies or knows the long-term effect of creatine, especially on still developing teenage bodies. Kevin Mack suffered severe leg cramps until he reduced the dosage, and some coaches ban it, citing cramps, dehydration, and fears of internal damage.
There's a history of lots of things in medicine we've looked back and said, God, we shouldn't have ever done that.
How many guys are using creatine? Raise your hand.
It might take more than fear of the unknown to scare young athletes off creatine, however. You see, our heroes use it, and it's hard to argue with this kind of success. Bill Whitaker, CBS News, Oxnard, California.
In light of the recent embassy bombings and U.S. airstrikes, the U.S. State Department today issued a worldwide caution for Americans abroad. It says they should maintain a high level of vigilance and keep a low profile to avoid becoming targets for terrorist attacks. A UN tribunal today sentenced a former Prime Minister of Rwanda to life in prison for genocide. Jean Kambanda had pleaded guilty to organizing the slaughter of 500,000 Rwandans in 1994. He asked for a reduced sentence, but the judges said his crimes were too atrocious for leniency. In the Balkans, Serbian forces are driving deeper into Kosovo, clearing roads blocked by ethnic Albanian rebels and pounding their villages with artillery and tank fire. The UN estimates the Serb offensive has forced more than 250,000 people from their homes in Kosovo. Straight ahead tonight, Eye in America looks at the beachfront town they're going to have to tear down to clean up.
Introducing real milk chocolate, chewy caramel, and crunchy nuggets in a scrumptiously delicious new bar, fortified with antioxidants, bone-building calcium, and essential proteins. The delicious, nutritious new Boost Bar. Get your recommended daily allowance of chocolate crunch.
It feels strong and dependable, yet refreshing. Fix-It & Fresh, a stronger, longer hold, combined with a cool, crisp sensation. Fix-It & Fresh, and forget it.
Keep it going! Okay, that's enough. Put your stick down.
Bayer relieves the inflammation that can cause joint pain and stiffness. Tylenol can't. And take it regularly, only Bayer can help save your life by reducing the risk of another heart attack. Ask your doctor.
Okay, boys, let's play nice. Come on, come on.
Bayer, powerful pain relief and so much more. Also try Extra Strength Bayer PM, the only nighttime aspirin.
Do you use the same corn pads your grandmother used? Now there's a breakthrough. Introducing Band-Aid brand corn relief. It relieves painful pressure and stays in place better.
New Band-Aid brand cushions for feet corn relief.
This young man is about to save a life. Would you know what to do? If you arrive first, have someone go for help.
Don't move.
Hey guys, call for help. Then, to reduce the risk of fire, turn off the car's engine. Don't take chances if a car is burning. And never move a victim unless it's absolutely necessary. Learn more in this free book from Shell. Count on Shell.
Tonight's Eye on America looks at an endless summer that is about to end. Labor Day weekend is the last fling of the season for many of us. But for folks in one Pacific Coast town, it's a lot more painful than that. As correspondent John Blackstone reports, after the summer, their town will never be the same.
It's been a bittersweet summer in Avila Beach, California. As it comes to an end, this laid-back beach town is facing destruction. Every business on Front Street looking out at the Pacific will be torn down as an unprecedented pollution cleanup begins.
The town is essentially floating on top of some very toxic chemicals.
To get to the chemicals, local institutions like the Lighthouse Bar will be demolished. The streets around Linda Cullen's house will be ripped up. The Avila Beach she knows will be gone.
Avila's my baby. I love her dearly.
In order to be saved, Avila Beach will be destroyed. Much of the town will be dug up and carried away. No matter how pleasant and appealing this beach looks, it's not a place where kids are encouraged to build sand castles. Signs here warn that digging a hole in this sand any more than 2 feet deep could be a danger to your health. For 90 years, the oil company Unocal brought oil tankers into Avila Beach and piped fuel under the town. For many of those years, the pipes leaked. Dennis Lamb is Unocal's Avila Beach manager. Tell me what's under this town right now.
There's about 400,000 gallons of mostly diesel underneath the Front Street, the town, and the beach as a total.
Facing a massive lawsuit, Unocal has agreed to do what no polluter has done before: excavate much of a town and then rebuild it. The cleanup could cost more than $100 million and take almost 2 years.
We will clean up the contaminated soil. There will be no risk to groundwater, and we will help people reestablish their business and their homes here.
But for many residents, the cleanup plans hold only uncertainty, says attorney Steve Williams.
The people who live in the homes that are being torn down, the people who own the businesses that are being torn down, have not been told a word about what will happen to them.
And while the cleanup is what the people of Avila Beach want and what the town needs, there is still worry about all that might be lost.
How do you rebuild something funky? Or replace lives? It'll never be the same.
The new Avila Beach will be on the same bay with the same views out over the Pacific. The beach will be clean and safe, but still many will miss the old Avila Beach, now enjoying the last days of its last summer. In Avila Beach, California, John Blackstone for Eye on America.
And that is the CBS Evening News for tonight. Bob Schieffer will be along Sunday with Face the Nation. Now here's Leslie Stahl with a look at what's coming up Sunday night on 60 Minutes.
This boy's illness was as deadly as any you can think of. Yet managed care managed to find a way to not do what was necessary to save his life. And can a newspaper tell a bull-faced lie like this and get away with it? So far it has, with help from an unlikely quarter. 60 Minutes, Sunday.
And for Dan Rather, I'm Paula Zahn reporting from New York tonight. I hope to see you again tomorrow night. Good night.
CBS.com for news 24 hours a day. Experience CBS News.
Nearly 20 churches in Nashville were damaged in the April tornadoes.